playoffs as the #1 seed in the AFC, but Baltimore was upset at home by the Titans in the divisional round, losing 28-12. And he faced the Titans again in Baltimore in Week 11 this season. But after the Ravens raced out to a 21-10 lead early in the third, Tennessee took over and won 30-24 in overtime. Randy, Lamar's heard all about this. You can't win a playoff game. He knows all about the narrative. What do you think he needs to do particularly tomorrow to get over the hump?
Well, I don't really think it's just Lamar Jackson. I think it's the offensive coordinator, Greg Roman, to really understand that this is a team effort, that it's 11 guys on that field. I think in the past, with them being able to have a guy like Lamar Jackson, they have relied too much on Lamar Jackson in their running game. But when you have a rookie like Dobbins, you got Gus the Bus, you have the Mark Andrews, and then you have a guy like Dez Bryant is showing up in the end zone every now and then. So I think collectively it is a team over there, and I do not want them to forget about the 10 other guys that they have on that team going with Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, and when I look at this thing, you're right. Let's throw the ball about half the time, and I think you're more effective. But when I look at it, I'll flip the side of the ball, man. I look at this Baltimore Raven team, and Eric DeCosta, he learned from Ozzie Newsome, the best GM I've ever seen. And what'd he say? We need Calais Campbell. We need somebody to stop a Derrick Henry. And I'm going to show you a little tape here of Derrick Henry against the Baltimore Ravens, Week 11, I believe it was. They ground and pounded. Look at the second down. Look at the line of scrimmage. Baltimore wins the line of scrimmage, so they're going to stop Derrick Henry. They get off blocks. But I'm going to fast forward to the fourth quarter. Now look what happens. The D-line's catching, and Derrick Henry's allowed to get to that second and third level. Forget about it, man. I mean, that is trouble, and he wears you down. So it's not just how it looks at the beginning of the game, it's at the end. But when I mentioned you're going to see this overtime run here, this is a touchdown run. And it closed out the game, obviously, wins with the touchdown run. But I mentioned earlier about Eric DeCosta. What did he do? He went out and got Calais Campbell. He went out and got Derek Wolfe. All right? Those two guys and Brandon Williams, who never played in the last two meetings with these teams, make a huge difference. You're going to have more depth at the end of the game to play, and I think that could be a huge deciding factor. We'll talk more about it, obviously, tomorrow, but man, oh man, it's going to be a great one. And I can tell you this, Wink Martindale is happy to have Calais Campbell. and so we'll see the difference it makes.
Rex, I agree with what you're saying with the defense, but I think that something that I see happening is people are discounting Lamar Jackson. I think partly because he's such a great runner, and partly because they started out, he didn't have the MVP-type numbers early in the year. But in the last 5 weeks, Lamar Jackson, the passer, has been incredible. His completion percentage is better than Drew Brees, better than Russell Wilson, better than Patrick Mahomes. He's got the best QBR in the entire NFL in the last 5 weeks. This guy is hot. He's hot as a runner, obviously, but as a passer, we don't give him enough credit. And what do we say all the time? It's all about the team that gets hot at the right time. The Baltimore Ravens are a team you do not want to play right now. Their quarterback is playing great as a passer and obviously as a runner.
Quickly, excuse me, Brew. Do you remember what Lamar Jackson said a couple of weeks ago, how they was taking each regular season game? They said, this is our playoff. They wanted to get in the playoffs. So you speaking about Lamar Jackson being probably the hottest player in the National Football League right now, Matt, I'd agree with you. Sorry, Brew.
That's all right. Sometimes the team you play overrides any situation. I mean, playoff game, preseason game, no matter when it is, the team you play. And that's what I'm starting to see with these two teams. And it's the way the Ravens should be. It's the way the Ravens should see the Tennessee Titans, because the Tennessee Titans have absolutely stolen their soul, in my opinion. Who do the Ravens pride themselves on? We're the bullies on the block. We do this well. No, you're not. The Ravens play it better. They pound it down your throat. They run the fake punts. They do all that stuff. So playoff game, Lamar shouldn't even be thinking about that. It's about establishing who you are to the entire league. No, we're the toughest team. That's what they have to do in this game.
Yeah, and history tells me Baltimore is not going to be bullied 3 times in a row.
You think so?
We're going to see. You know, we're going to see.
Yeah, we'll talk about this
I know you got Braves, and I got my
These two
boys
will
right
be
there.
interesting on the pregame show tomorrow.
Okay?
I do want to know something, though.
apart.
Both of these teams priding themselves on toughness. Teddy, who is the tougher between them?
The answer is obvious right now.
I agree.
Who the tougher team is, all right? And it's the Tennessee Titans. Based on, I'll Jackson, I tell you, based on what? Based on the last 2 games that they've played. Absolutely.
Well, I will give you that they were clearly the more physical team the last 2 times they played. Wink, I'm calling you out, Don Martindale. You gotta have my back, buddy. Let's go. This defense is gonna be there. And Matthew, your point about Lamar Jackson, the less he throws, the more efficient he is. Get that ground game going on your own, Harbs. Let's just make these guys quiet.
We got Nick there. You are ruthless. Children, women, it doesn't matter who. He's coming for everybody. I like it. You're consistent. All right, let's get back to the news of the morning, though. I'm hearing actives and inactives are in. So for that, we go to Chris Mortensen and Adam Schefter. Guys.
Thanks, Sam. There's a couple key actives in those 1:05 p.m. games. Bills receivers Stephon Diggs and Cole Beasley are active. They'll keep a closer eye on Beasley. And for the Colts, big active is DeForest Buckner. They're all-pro defensive tackle. Now, Adam, let's do a couple things about Sunday's games here.
Yeah, more. And for the Saints, they're expected to get back Alvin Kamara from the COVID-19 test result and Michael Thomas, who spent the last 3 weeks of the regular season on IR. The Saints put Michael Thomas on that list with the idea that he will be back and ready to contribute for the postseason. They'll get back Kamara, they'll get back Thomas, and they'll be pretty close to full strength when they take on the Chicago Bears in the wild card game Sunday morning.
And Lamar Jackson and the Ravens are feeling good about the momentum they have going into Sunday's game at Tennessee against the Titans, the same team that eliminated them last year in that after the bye week. Lamar Jackson said he's glad they don't have a bye week. He wants to keep that momentum going. Felt sluggish last year. And on the defense, for Derrick Henry, the Ravens will have back Calais Campbell, Derek Wolfe, and Brandon Williams, big-time run stoppers. The Ravens feel good about where they are going into Sunday's game, Adam.
And more, for the 3rd straight day, the Cleveland Browns got no positive test results on their players. They're going to practice today, and they are scheduled to leave for Pittsburgh later today, albeit without their head coach, Kevin Stefanski, who will remain home and miss the wild card matchup, the Browns' first playoff game in close to 2 decades. Stefanski can't be involved on game day. Mike Prefer will be the head coach. Alex Van Pelt, the offensive coordinator, will call the plays. But with the test results coming in negative this morning, the Browns will be on their way to Pittsburgh for a game that some wondered if it would come off, Sam.
Yeah, that's good news, Adam, from the Domino's pregame headquarters. Rex, this is kind of hard to believe, to be honest, but I guess in this year, anything is believable, that Kevin Stefanski will not be out there for this game. Just very practically speaking, what real difference do you think that will make?
Sam, it is a huge difference. I mean, you're talking about critical decisions in big moments of games, like in the half, in the game decisions, 3rd down, challenges. And he's a play caller. So how it's going to affect, with Baker Mayfield, it's huge. The other thing is things you don't see. This is the leader of the football team. And those things, he's got the pulse of the team. Even the pregame talk that he talks to his men before the game. There's so much to it when you lose a head coach, especially a great coach like Kevin Stefanski as a play caller. I think this loss is
a huge challenge. They're an incredibly talented team across the board. And so for me personally, getting ready for this defense, what they present, and we got to go out there and get ready to roll. And like I said, these guys are really good, and it'd be a huge test for us.
All right, 8.5 hours before kickoff, here's what we know about Alex Smith. I just talked to a team official who said that Alex Smith will arrive at the stadium here, FedEx Field, about 4:30, 5 o'clock. He'll be evaluated later this afternoon, and then when he gets to the stadium, he is determined to start in this football game and play in this game. He did very little this week, less than he did leading up to the game against Philadelphia, has still experienced soreness and stiffness at the end of the week, so they want to evaluate him when he gets to the stadium, SP. And one last note, I just got a text from Bucs head coach Bruce Arians, who said that wide receiver Mike Evans is good to go tonight.
Wow, that's great news for Bucs fans, of course.